Welcome to Listen Linda by Salem Surround. These short training videos cover sales and marketing tips, digital tactics, process and implementation shortcuts, system secrets, product knowledge, updates, and all the ad ops news that you can use. Now, please welcome one of our weekly trainers.
Awesome. So I know some of you have probably already seen this. Yeah, my compliments there to your barber, Byron. Wanted to walk you all through it. I know some of you have already seen it, but I thought I'd walk through some of the top level things and then see if you have any questions so far that you've heard from your reps, from your advertisers, for those of you that are active in the platform. Let me start by sharing my screen here. Should be the right one. Okay, so first and foremost, new platform. Anybody and everyone who logs in now will see the new platform. Your dashboard looks pretty much the same, right? This is hopefully something that isn't new to anybody. But the filters have been updated at the top, which is why I have these open. You know, they used to be kind of like strewn across the top in a couple haphazard rows. I was never crazy about the layout there. So we've organized your connection status, spot status filters here on the left. You may also notice when you log in, we've had a lot of requests about this, that you can see every data set in the country now, not just the markets that you're limited to. So everybody has access to everything, which can be helpful if you sell part of a deal that's outside one of your home markets. We don't have to grant you access to it anymore. But the flip side of that is when you log in your dashboard, you're going to see everything. So over here on the right, when you load the page, it'll look like this. You'll have filters here, market and trend data. If you open up this one on the right, you can load your market or markets that you want to refine this list to, and then click apply filters. So you can still do things the way you've always done it, limited it to your markets only, which is what I've done here, logged in as Ed. So this should all be largely the same. The navigation items that you used to have to mouse over your name on the top right, most of these have been moved to the left. Starter report, we're going to get to in a minute. This is exactly what Todd was just talking about all the prospecting opportunities, all the new business development opportunities, where you can do immediate research and get best practices for a category and market combo. It'll also load up your most recently loaded reports. It'll prompt you to connect anyone who's your advertiser that hasn't been connected yet. And then, the standard stuff down here, connect, access to weekly trends, client list, which is this dashboard, newly renamed. If you want to find and claim your advertisers, again, remind, those of you who have your own accounts or those of you who manage teams, just remember, all they have to do, I think we're getting a lot of this data in the logs now, but for where we're not, and that data is never perfect, if you have an account, click this star button, it'll turn it gold, and it'll make sure that you're associated with it, which you can also do here from the find and claim advertiser list. You can create a data-driven schedule. That's probably a deeper discussion we should have if you want to use that, but it'll take response data and actually suggest based on a budget how to allocate a schedule. It won't plug it directly into your ordering system or anything, but it's a cool place to start. And then for those of you that are managers, reporting, that section has been kind of enhanced to be better than ever. You can click there, go to quarterly or market reporting and see all the reporting info you're used to seeing. The most fundamental change, though, as most of you know, is the super summaries. So we have taken the normal, 8 to 25 page report, depending on how much someone's doing and what data elements you're showing them, and distilled it down to basically one sheet panels. And they will list advertiser insights. This is the stuff you're used to seeing, information about what response data look like for a specific advertiser's account in your market or markets. This is their campaign data. It'll also show you industry metrics, which will aggregate everything we've ever tracked in that industry in your market to show you what other folks have learned. This is also what we use when we get to the prospecting new business part of it, but it's also really beneficial for upsales and comparative purposes. And then it'll also load market level data, which has some aggregated market response data, some general market size data, a list of stations and what categories we've seen resonate particularly well on those stations, and some, the top 5, 6, 7 things here from weekly trends. Weekly trends, as a reminder, you can also access from here, and is the first part of that prospecting step where, we would say fish where the fish are, right? Weekly trend shows you where the fish are, shows your teams who's hot right now, who has an opportunity. That's your VBR to reach out and get a meeting. So we surface these all on the same page. And the idea is you can have every conversation that you would ever want to have from the main report, the longer report, directly from the summary. It'll show raw response. It'll show on air, off air if it's higher. It'll show the top station, day, part, and day, a deeper dive into creatives, days and day parts, some overall campaign info, foot traffic data if we have it, some basic decision engine things. Technically it's AI. We're not like building robots or anything here, but it'll be a really basic, like, oh, if you increase frequency of your top creatives or top day part duration, what kind of increase in response might you see? It's a good suggestion of what to do next. That's what's probably missing from most reporting that you'll see, whether it's broadcast or digital. It's like, here's some data, but very rarely in the report does it say, here's what we should do with it. So these are really helpful for reps who are just going to use this as their main reporting, to have some suggestions of what to do with this data, what to do next. And in the middle here, there are some decent data visualizations for day part, and duration. The way we might use these in conjunction with our industry insights. So we would see in the market, auto dealers seeing a top day of Tuesday with a 60-second ad in the middle of the day. So let's see, Tuesdays, we don't see in their list here. Now they're probably doing a few spots on Tuesdays, but let's say hypothetically they weren't, right? We saw the top day in the market for the industry was Tuesdays, but it's not part of their buy. What an easy way to suggest adding Tuesdays to the buy, right? Let's turn a potential 3-day advertiser into a 4-day-a-week advertiser, add hopefully 30% of your revenue as you add another day, based on insights that their peers and competitors have already learned, already spent money to prove worked. You may also look at duration, that they're running 60s and 10s, top of the market is a 60. Let's say hypothetically the top of the market was a 30. That would be a great way to say, hey, let's add 30s into your mix also. You basically look for things that are present in the industry or even market response as a top day part category duration, and see if you can get them added to their schedule as well. You can also compare, they're getting 10 people per ad, the market tends to see 5, you're doubling up the average response in the market. Great. If the advertisers is ever lower than the markets, you have a couple options. You can fully customize this. So let's say you don't want to show the market VPA, just uncheck it. I have to get better at finding and clicking the checkbox. Uncheck it, click done customizing, and now the VPA is gone. Get a 9% on air, off air, your VPA is 10, move on to other metrics, right? Or what I like to do is you use that as a target. Like, let's say these numbers were flipped and theirs was a 5 and the industry average was a 10. Now you have a target. Let's tweak your schedule. Let's add some days. Let's test some creative and use that 10 as a target to meet and then beat, right? It's a great way to extend a campaign long-term when you kind of have that goal in mind of where you can get. So this should make it significantly easier for you, for your teams, depending on your role. I'll keep kind of trying to make my comments ubiquitous for everyone on the call. It should make it easier for you to use this data quickly. Even easier, the way this will be delivered to you. This is the first page of reporting in the dashboard. So if I pulled up something in the dashboard and I click over here on ad report, it's going to load up the super summary screen first. The full reports are still here. You'll see full report at the top corner of each one of these sections. If we click that, it'll be the report you're accustomed to seeing, the longer report, 8 to 25 pages, depending on what you want to show people, how much they're doing. Some small things, some of the stuff that used to be in the right rail is now on the left, but for the most part, we're going to see all the same information you're used to seeing in these reports. I'm not going to put you all to sleep by going through this report in detail because we've done it before, but if you have some that you want to look at, we're always happy to do that. Foot traffic, detailed digital, all kinds of stuff in here. So that's all still here. If you want to make any changes to date range, let's say it loads the summary, but you want to do a wider date range or change stations or something, you go to the full report, we click filters here at the top. This is the same place. So if you want to change a date range or you want to do a comparison or something like that, you would do that here. Any changes you make here after you're done, we'll reprocess the report, then you can go back to the summary, and the summary and full report will both reflect the changes you made. Each one of your reps who has a connected active advertiser in a month will receive an email, and you can see, I'll click preview email here. The email looks pretty much exactly like the full report, right? So here's the email. This is going to get sent to everybody once a month. So if it is your advertiser, that's also why I mentioned clicking that star icon earlier from the dashboard. So each one of you that has clicked the star for an advertiser will receive at least once a month this report. Well, not this report, but the comparable report like this for that advertiser, right? The idea is to remind everyone that there's reporting there. I think one of the biggest barriers for reps using this data more often is that they have to go get it, right? Like you have to remember someone's connected, that it's been a certain amount of time. Let me log into the platform, go see if it's there. You know, that might only take 5 or 10 minutes, but it's still another task they have to remember and do. And you have to seek it out. So for some of you or your reps that maybe aren't as comfortable with this data yet, you know, it's hard to motivate yourself to go run out and grab something when you don't even know if you're going to like what you see or aren't even really comfortable with it. So the hope is that receiving these via email, one is a reminder that the data is here. Two, we'll normalize it for more of you and more of your teams who can see this more often and see that there are easy conversations. You'll also see right here at the top of the email, there's a link, schedule a data review with us, change or customize your reporting. That'll take you right to the platform or right to a scheduling page where you can schedule a time to talk to us so no one ever has to feel like they're doing this on their own. I think you'll find for like 75% of advertisers and reps, forwarding this monthly email to the client as a, hey, here's our monthly snapshot. We're doing great on Mondays and middays. Maybe we should do more of that. Might be enough for the whole conversation. But of course, get us involved. We're happy to dive to drill a little bit deeper, find some more stories. But again, the idea is to simplify this entire process. Instead of pulling you guys into the platform, we're going to just basically become a response data delivery service and dump reports right into your inbox at least once a month. For those of you that have a lot of connected advertisers and you're thinking, oh, that's going to be fun. I'm going to get 30 emails one day with all these reporting, and my inability to look at all of them will affect my ability to look at any of them. Know that we'll throttle these. So it'll be one per business day until we've exhausted your connected active advertisers. If you have more than however many business days are in the month, you might get 2 per day until those are done. So just want to give you an idea of the cadence on that stuff. And again, all of that stuff can be customized. There's still a live chat on every page of the site. So as you log in and have questions, let us know. But hopefully you agree that this is going to make it much easier to kind of make use of this data a little bit more of a normalized part of your process and contact and communicating with advertisers. And I know you all know this data because I talk about it all the time, but I'm going to say it again, frequency, medium, and all that. Connected advertisers who are plugged into this platform and see data tend to cancel up to 50% less often. That's cutting attrition in half. And they tend to spend 20+% more money over time. Now, there's an important qualifier in that is that they are connected and they see data. So what I would like to see is right now, you probably all agree that like 80% of our analytics time is spent collecting data and trying to connect people. And like 20% of the time is actually using the data, but it's the use of the data. It's data itself doesn't make anybody any money. It's the conversations around the data that drive revenue, that reduce attrition. They give you a deeper relationship with your advertiser, that more consultative relationship. So it's important to normalize the use of the data, not just the collection of the data.
Now, we've all stop there for just 1 second.
Absolutely.
Okay. You've covered a lot. Are there any questions so far about what he's shown? Feel free to chime in, ask up. You know, this is always an open conversation.
Yes. I accidentally switched it from conversation to presentation, but let's
no sweat, brother. No problem, man. I mean, you've got a lot to share. I mean, there's so much value in this tool. And I think, you know, you said earlier, if you're in here and you have questions, there's a chat feature. You can literally ask the support team while you're in there looking. So if you're going to present this to a client, you know, look through it, make sure you know what everything means, and then get together with your client. Questions?
I actually need some help hooking up the radio realtors. They have not been able to get this done. And so I think I need a little bit more hand holding.
Sure.
So because this information is choice, and I think that would be very beneficial to them, but they're just technologically, they can't follow the email that they got. Sure. So I don't know if there's maybe maybe I could have some one-on-one with you to go over and hook them up.
Yeah. If you wanted to shoot me a quick email, I'll respond. We'll set up a time. And just so all of you know, and thank you. That's a great question to ask because it lets me talk a little bit about the support team and the fact that we do that for we probably have 10 or 15 calls just like that every single day with various advertisers for all of our partners. Our whole support team does them. I still even do them myself. So we are always happy to spearhead that connection conversation with your advertiser. We will walk them through the process. Neither they nor you need to be experts in this to get it done. And in fact, the connection process, and this is something I'm sure you've all received, hopefully we can kind of distribute it again, or you can go back and find it. But you've probably heard me tout this connection introduction email more so than, you know, this connect an advertiser at the top of the page, which of course you can still use. Like if you click connect an advertiser here at the top of the page, it's going to give you a pretty good email you can send. But we've sent out a template that's even shorter than this. And the concept is all you have to do as a rep is introduce your advertiser to the support team. And you don't have to know anything. You don't have to pitch the platform. You don't have to include connection instructions. If you just send an email to the advertiser and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Advertiser, I want to introduce you to my analytics team. They're going to help you get set up for the free response reporting that comes with your campaign. They'll provide instructions, answer questions, set up a meeting, whatever you want. That way, you've sort of blessed the conversation from the start. You've endorsed us as someone who is officially working with you. But then we'll take it off your plate. We'll follow up. You don't have to micromanage that conversation at all. You'll still be CC'd on all of it. Feel free to contribute, but you don't have to. And in doing that, you could probably send out an email to all of your active accounts in about 5 minutes, and that'll put them into our queue. We'll follow up, and we'll work with them directly with a little bit of an escalation. Like we'll send that link first. But in a situation like you just mentioned, if they're not getting that and they're like, I need help, if they email us and say, we want a meeting, great. We will even follow up after 2 or 3 days and say, hey, if you click here, you can automatically schedule a meeting with us to walk through the whole thing. So I would love to see folks just kind of align with that process, get those connection introduction emails out to everybody. And also you can make that part of the onboarding process for everybody. So even before they start on air, a quick email, hey, we're really excited for the partnership. Your spots start next week or in 2 weeks or next month or whatever. I'd like to introduce you to the analytics team, et cetera, et cetera. We'll work to get them plugged in. If we can just normalize that as like a process all the time, I think we'll collectively see a lot more advertisers connected and therefore a lot more reports hitting your inbox reminding you to use the data and fewer cancellations and higher spends. Right?
Perfect. So
that's how it's all meant to work together.
Thanks.
So you guys all heard that. What they're looking for is for you to make the initial introduction. You can use this connect advertiser and then personalize the email. And, you know, if you spend a little bit of time on that, less attrition, better spend. And for those of you that are still struggling to get above the 10 or 15,000 mark in digital, once we have this team connection, we can look for recommendations. We can find things that will help them integrate radio and digital in intelligent ways. So it's really a win across the board, especially for radio only clients that you might want to talk to them about digital.
Yeah, because it's a great point that all these industry insights or even their individual radio insights, those are really useful for digital also. You could even use this for your digital only clients to say like, look, from the broad reach of radio, you know, digital can be so surgical. Predictive results are from smaller sample sizes. But you can say, look, let's use the broad reach of radio and the response we've learned to know how to program your digital schedule as well. So it's a great, as Todd said, it's a great cross-sell piece, whether they're radio only and you want to introduce them to digital, whether they're digital only, you want to bring them over to broadcast, or some combination of the two and you just want to upsell in general.
You know, I would add also, Todd, that to your point, Dave, upsell opportunities. If you show this data and you see positive thing, it's a great opportunity to upsell them if they're not doing digital, but also spot as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about new business development and the tools here for that. So weekly trends, I won't go over in the interest of time because I know you're familiar with it, but that is right here. Weekly trends aggregates website traffic data by industry and market to, again, show you the categories that have a time-sensitive opportunity. So the next step in the process would be to click on Start a Report, which I've already loaded right here. So this will take you to a page where you can essentially generate the industry and market insights portion of this without having to add an advertiser. So let's say you want to look at, I've been doing mattresses because they're up recently, and let's do Seattle. So you just pick your industry and market, or if you want to look at national insights, just pick an industry. If you want to look at just market, don't pick an industry and just pick a market. You can do that as well. So now we have a page here with industry, and in a moment we'll have market insights as well. So let's say you looked at weekly trends, saw mattresses had this 25+% boost in traffic. You use that as the valid business reason to reach out to someone. We've seen your category website traffic jump by 25% this month. Have you seen the same thing? If they say yes, great. You know you have an opportunity, you have supply, my audience has demand. Let's put that chocolate and peanut butter together, make you some money. If they say no, we haven't seen that spike, you can say, well, your peers and competitors have. And right now, they are the ones my audience is finding when they search. You're missing out. They're taking business away from you. Let's get you on air, connect your supply with my audience's demand, make you some money. Then you say, not only do I have data that shows me that you have an opportunity right now, I also have data that shows me how to take advantage of the opportunity for someone just like you in our market. So here in Seattle, we've seen mattress companies work best Monday with a 30-second ad, and in middays. You can click on the full report here to see even more detailed information. So we'll go down here and see that the top days were really like, Thursday or Friday through Monday. So let me start you with my top 4 days. Let's do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Let's look at our top few day parts, midday, afternoon, and evening. Let's look at our top duration for response. Looks like 30 seconds followed by 15s. So let me build you a campaign Friday through Monday, midday, afternoon, and evening with a 30-second and 15-second version of your spot, because your industry, your peers and competitors have already spent millions of dollars to learn this information. Now you can use it for free right now. Well, not free because I have to buy the ad campaign, but they can optimize it for free right out of the gate. And so that's data showing that you know how to execute on the opportunity they have right now. Then, of course, once they're on air, you plug them in the same way you've plugged in all these other people to gain these best practices. And they know that once their ads meet your audience, we'll track and see how the users interact with the ad spots. We'll optimize as we go in case we learn something a little bit different with your campaign than what we've learned for these others. But what it does is it gives you I know information at each stage of that process. It's no longer I think and feel like you have an opportunity. I think and I feel like I know how to make it work. I think and feel like this ad might have been better than this one. It's I know you have an opportunity. I know this is how to take advantage of it, and I know what worked and how we can do even better next month. And I always refer to that as kind of a data-driven sales narrative. But it's a great way to have a lot of confidence and a lot of concrete information behind your sales pitch. And I think it's just such a strong way to talk to someone about the opportunity and how much of a sure thing it is, because people still look at broadcast as, oftentimes the medium that I can't prove, right? It's the old digital comes with a report, broadcast comes with an invoice stigma, which you can absolutely smash to pieces with this because everything comes with a report, everything can be tracked, everything can be optimized. Does that all make sense on how you would do that? Cool. And again, that's just mousing over here. The very first thing is start a report. It'll load a blank page, pick your category and market. Off you go. Any questions about this part of it? Or anything else, really? That's everything I wanted to show you.
Man, this stuff is gold. I'm just saying, I love it.
Yeah. Some of you might remember the industry insights part is something that we tried to roll out to everyone at the end of last year. We turned it on. It was called Numeric Owl at the time. Or maybe it was still called Industry Insights. But anyway, we rolled it out and we thought, let's see how people use it. We thought maybe 1 out of every 3 reps would pull a report or 2. And it was 80% of reps pulling 5 or 6 reports each. And it crashed our entire system. All of our servers went down, which is why we had to throttle it. And then you just had a couple reports that each rep could pull. And that's what kicked off the redevelopment of the whole platform that turned into this next gen piece. So this was sort of the impetus for all of it. Obviously, we've done a lot more than just this. But now you have access to this fully everywhere information for all markets. Sometimes there's even TV data in there. If you wanted to compare radio performance to TV performance, you can play around and see what data is available to you in each market.
So no throttles, no limits. Go in here, play to your heart's content. Industry insights, weekly trends, of course, connect as many advertisers as you can to increase your radio schedule or optimize it. A lot of value.
Yeah. And again, if you want us, just like we're happy to do internal data reviews, help with connections, external data reviews, we're more than happy to be on sales calls with you to talk about this data also. Don't feel like you have to present this all on your own either. If you want, a data geek to be on the call as an expert to tell you where we got this information and what it all means, happy to do that also.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So any questions, guys? I know we covered a lot today. This has been recorded. We'll make sure this gets posted. Any thoughts, questions, or ideas?